Let's just hope that they don't get nuked. Gonna do the run into water thing again. I thought I would have to shoot the puppet, but that is not what happened.
Quiet, and I'll tell you. There is no time for questions.
When you were young, you used to have bad dreams. You cried about them all the time. The truth is, those weren't your dreams. They were mine. For as long as I can remember, I've dreamt of the beach. Not just while sleeping, in my waking hours too. In my dreams, I watched the world end so many times. Countless past extinctions that decimated life on this planet. Again, and again, and again. At first, I didn't understand what I was seeing or why. And that wasn't the worst of it. There were other, more terrible dreams. Dreams of death and destruction. Of a massive extinction to come. Like this one. And I would always be the one to end it all. To bring about the last stranding. As I have today.
first operation, I was only 20. I opened my eyes and found myself on the beach. But the moment I came round, I was back in the hospital bed. I was split across two worlds. Bridget, my Ha in that one. Amelie, my Ka in this. Somehow, the two of us managed to coexist. Soon, our ages began to diverge. Only Bridget's body got older, while the beach kept Amelie's the same.
I guess this is the question that I had. It's just hard to digest because the game just went overboard in explaining that she is eternal. So how could she even possess a body in our time drop? I guess this is one of those moments that are extremely hard, and I just have to power through.
So I came up with a story. I told people that Amelie was my daughter. A daughter with a debilitating condition and an absent father. Look. Amelie. Is French for soul. A soul that's a lie. There was no Amelie. Only me and the beach. I thought it was a curse in the beginning. But later, I started thinking, maybe I can use this. I tried to find out more about the beach. Because understanding the beach had to be the key to interpreting my visions of the future.
You know what's irritating about this? This feels like a lecture. This doesn't feel like something that I would want. I'm just getting set down and fed information, no matter if I want it or not. I have to say it here that I think like, if there is supposed to be any sort of emotional connection right now in the game, I'm probably one of the worst candidates for it, since yesterday when I got whatever the frick yesterday was in this game, like, it was so self-destructive of this game to do that. And I still feel like I feel exhausted from that, heavily exhausted. I woke up, I had headaches. I took the time to stay longer in bed, hydrated and stuff. Like, it took me 6 hours before I could start the game and go start my stream. That's just how bad everything was yesterday, and it has not gotten better. But I just want to say that right now, the reason why I still sound so monotone is because, I'm just not a, what's the right word? Recipient for emotional wavelengths right now. Especially since this game is basically someone who absolutely wronged me. So any sort of tricks just don't work. Because I'm very suspicious of the game. And it cannot surprise me. Because right now I'm emotionally dense.
I realized the beach was connected to the world of the dead, which meant that somewhere out beyond it were the memories of time itself, including those of every organism that had ever lived. 4.6 billion years of biological history, a history that might even stretch back to the creation of the universe. The chiral network and everything that followed was born from my pursuit of that knowledge. By passing data through the beach, we were unbound by the restrictions of time. Simulations that would have taken years or more were simple and effortless. Everything that the Earth had lost and forgotten could be reconstructed and reclaimed. But shortly after we began our research, America saw its first void out.
Why is it told in a way that it's a bad thing? This is what I mean with it feels like a lecture. Like she's.
I thought I was running out of time, that my nightmares were becoming a reality. So I raced to complete the chiral network as quickly as possible.
Now my brain formed what I want to say. She is the guardian of the end, guardian of destruction. She's the entity that is supposed to know the point when it's supposed to happen. That is what the game just taught me. That there's a time to end everything. And she was the one to decide, nah bruh, I'm doing it live.
The past held all the answers. If only I could find a way to piece them together. A network that bridged our world and the beach. That might do it, I believed. So, I started researching bridge babies. Children bound to the world of the dead. What causes an extinction entity to come into being? What was the reason for the previous 5 mass extinctions? The answers to those questions would tell me how to stop the 6th. I founded bridges, more determined than ever to build a chiral network that would cover all of America.
Okay, and now it makes more sense, but it's still, like I said, a lecture. We didn't learn this. This is, for example, why I don't read the emails. Because either they would tell me something I already know, or they would, if I wanted the extra knowledge, I could just read it. Yeah. The right now the game forces me to move my camera somewhat synchron to her movement. The reason why it forces me, because I could just look straight and just have the what is it, the 8D 3D audio do its work, its magic. But the problem is that my brain and my ears get strongly irritated. Like there's ASMR, it hurts my ears, and that's a personal thing. So that's not only for cinematic effect, and I like doing a little bit of effort into cinematic effect to support a game, but also for my own well-being, I have to move the camera to have her somewhat centered in the middle. And this makes it even more annoying because I want to learn it while doing stuff in the game. I'm not reading a book. You know? Like, this is basically me finding another MacGuffin. Something that tells me where to go and stuff. Instead of me actually learning or solving a puzzle and everything comes together. This is tell, don't show. But a very bad way, because how long are we sitting here and listening to this? My timer for the current recording shows 17 minutes. With small breaks of just running around. There's no fun. Because I cannot do anything. And the reason why this is bad is because this is not a movie. Compare this with a movie scene in a school scenario, you know, any sort of thing. There are always camera changes, there's always movement to keep the viewer engaged. Something even little like moving a pen will happen to keep the eyes giving the eyes information that something is happening while the ears are listening to the dialogue that is happening. You cannot have a still cinema anymore these days, especially these days where everyone is getting trained to only have an attention span of, God, we are down to 4 seconds, right? Man. Anyways, let's stay on track. So having these fucking sit downs, it's like, man. But then on the other hand, it's even worse that I'm doing this, right? Because I don't even have an own camera where I could mimic or anything. You know, I could just put my people blanket back on stream or start here Vacaru or VTube Studio to use some of those free assets that I found on the internet, right? But to give you that movement to stimulate eyes and ears at the same time, man. But then this is a movie like game that wouldn't or shouldn't have that sort of interference. It should speak for itself, but everything here is there's nothing.
But the longer I fought my war against the inevitable, the weaker I became. My Ha had cancer. The beach's punishment, maybe, for not playing along like a good little EE. And then, just like that, my Ha was gone. I couldn't finish what I'd started. So, I asked you to do it for me. And you did.
What is this? This is the game trying to break the fourth wall and not respecting the tools it gave me. What the fuck, man? She is looking at the point where my camera would be if I didn't move it. So she would look me directly into the face.
You helped us complete the network. Helped us to reclaim everything the universe experienced from its inception to this moment. Every mystery was
This is
poised to
getting
solve,
worse.
like this one. Once, there was an explosion.
Because she wasn't looking at the
Big Bang
point
gave birth
where I
to
would
time
be.
and space. Thing is, it was more like a big fluke.
Bro, the game didn't
All
even
that
draw my
time and
attention
energy
to
that
this.
should have canceled itself out, leaving nothing. But somehow, a tiny speck of matter survived. Just enough. Enough to make this world and everything in it. A world that shouldn't be, a world out of balance. Order inevitably gives way to chaos. Everything that lives must inevitably die.
No, order doesn't give way to chaos. Order is a part of chaos. Because everything is chaos. Order is just a way you may try to make sense of things. But if you take chaos away, order becomes chaos in of itself.
It's like the universe is trying to return us to the nothing we came from. Maybe the Big Five were its best attempts to finish us off. But
If you need a quick example, is every land has its rule system, right? Just ask yourself, why does this one rule exist? Is it still relevant for our time? Does it maybe need a rewrite because the rules changed? Something like that. That's why order becomes chaos. Because order is not forever.
somehow,
But chaos
life
is.
always managed to survive just enough. Enough to thumb its nose at the will of the cosmos. You know, I'm starting to think that extinction might be the key to overcoming total annihilation. It forces life to fight to survive, to endure, to exist. That's why the Big Five ultimately rekindled life instead of extinguishing it. From the ashes of the dead rise the living. Stronger and wiser. Inheritors of the legacy of existence itself. They defy the universe and refuse to surrender. They say, we're just getting started. Extinction is an opportunity.
But doesn't mean extinction the erasing of a certain kind of spaceman. But we survived. Just like the meteor that killed the dinosaurs didn't kill all land living things, like bacteria and very small thingies survive. Bro, this is getting so boring.
I pulled the trigger twice that day. I knew at once I'd made a mistake. I found your beach and looked everywhere for you. Sam. There you are.
Hold up. I pulled the trigger twice and looked everywhere for you. Oh, this is bad. Because this complicates the reason as to why she gave humanity a win condition. The game just left it up to chance that Sam just invaded her beach, and so they fused. I guess I should let him cook. But man, I already do not like what's in the pot. So did Sam die when he was just a toddler? Oh man. Does this mean that everyone who has contracted dooms got touched by her? And it's not just an operation.
You want to go home? Let's go home. I wanted to set you free from death once and for all. It's okay. I know the way. But in doing so, I upset the fundamental balance between life and death. I just wanted to save you. I am an extinction entity. It's my fate to lead our species to extinction. But that moment, you became part of that fate. You became a repatriate, and dooms started spreading my nightmares to others throughout the world. It was me that got you and everyone with dooms into this. Not long after, the Death Stranding occurred. The dead clung to our world, and BTs used my beach to cross over and devour them, triggering more void outs. A catalyst that would set the world on a path to extinction. It was my duty to serve as a sacrifice, to wait and watch it unfold from this beach. That, or hasten the last stranding and end this slow death.
So here's the funny thing. The player would have been able to figure this out by himself already, you know. I mean, it only makes sense. So why are we talking about this here? I mean, I already got the hints of the Chiron network making more supercells. I heard that the chiroplasmic activities became more stronger, which caused even those orange BTs to come out. You know, I encountered more of the giant BTs, so yeah, the more I spread the network, and basically all this says is she is at the hard point of it all. Well, that was the theory Hartman at the end gave us, which I found very boring. You know, he said it like a heart pumping, the flow, and through the flow he was able to find out where her beach is, since he theorized that she would at the center, be in the center of everything. So this is just confirming his theory, which I find also a very boring way to find out, because both times we just got told what it is. And yeah.
Given these, my only options, I chose to end it quickly. But to trigger the last stranding, I needed you. A part of me. Here too. I would be able to witness extinction consummated with you by my side. But now that you're here, there's another choice. You can cut me off.
Did I not already do that?
For itself, but in my nightmares, I saw another future. One that you chose. One where extinction is hope against total annihilation.
Take this head on. Soon I'll come around. Lost and never found.
Alright. God, this doesn't work. Best I could guess is that, like we already said it, if she doesn't want to send me back, I'm gonna stand with her on her beach forever. So, is this just torment of her beach? If yes, then it's working. The best thing I can say about this music is that it is very creative. It's basically like the first time I listened to lo-fi and heard that different sounds got, like different than usual sounds got combined in a way I never experienced it before. And so rhythms got created that really surprised me. But after a while, every lo-fi had this extremely deep sound or extremely high-pitched sound, which both are absolutely destroying my ears. So that's why I cannot enjoy lo-fi. But some people's brain get tickled by those. Man, the reason why my ear is so sensible, sensible, is I had 4 inner ear infections when I was little, before the age of 12. So I have a lot of hardened skin. Yeah, so my ears don't work properly, and they work for the most part fine. Like only a year ago, I noticed that I lost a big chunk of my hearing. Um, I simply realized that stuff sounded way more damp than I was used to. You know, having good memory and stuff helped me realize that. Um, but on one hand, I probably don't hear certain sounds right, but for what I can hear, I'm super sensible to them. But this is one of those odd circumstances where you or I perceive the world a certain way that is different from what you probably perceive, while it's still very close to it. But don't worry really about my hearing, because I still have extremely precise hearing. So it's extremely hard to sneak up on me.
A gun won't help you here. But it still has a role to play.
You know what? This is the perfect ending.